minus 10 minutes. Minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. minus 2 minutes. T minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
We're live, they say. Welcome to a Football Friday. It's going to be a lot of football here today, but a little hockey too. We got Kevin the Medium dropping by. We've got Jim Barker in hour 2. And a very good friend of mine, recovery legend Rand Teed, is going to be with us in hour 2, where my two lives morph. Yeah, we're going to have fun. That, again, is a guarantee. I feel like I've missed something in the YouTube comments here. And don't tell me what it is now. We just went to air. Tell me in the first break if a fight's broken out there. We're going to try and have fun, take it into the weekend, keep it civil. Kevin the Medium is here from the Hughes Sports Podcast. He speaks to dead people. He is a medium. How you doing, Kev?
I am amazing.
Okay, good stuff. Listen.
Even in this cold weather, it's minus 30, Rod. Minus effing 30.
You know, it's funny you say that because, well, it is the Canadian hour, so now would be a perfect time to bring this up. I was talking to Rand this morning. He's my counselor. He's my mentor in the recovery industry. And he said he thinks Canadians enjoy the weather this time of year. It makes them hearty, makes them tough. And I said, I think they just like to complain. That's what I think that it is. But that's all I hear is the weather.
You got to remember, I grew up in Vancouver. Like minus 2 was damn cold there.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 20 plus years I've been living out in the prairies, and I still hate it. Freaking hate it. Yes, I love to bitch about it.
Yeah. Okay, so I was right. I might be right. Well, Rand's always right. Maybe we're both right. But listen, okay. It's the warm-up. It's the quick 6 show topics. Kevin sent me a list of things that he wanted to talk about. I'm going to tell you, Kev, I feel like a bit of a turd because there's 2 things, all that I hear from the Canadians. And we're on the Game Plus television network right now across Canada. In hour 2, we go across Nevada on Silver State Sports Entertainment Network. I hear about the weather, bitching. And 2, Mitch Marner's return tonight to Toronto. Oh, my God, they're building this thing up like the Super Bowl, which, by the way, I'm here for. Trust me, I'm here for it. I am. But, I mean, I follow so many Game Plus televisions anchored in Toronto. My God, for those that are sick of the Marner talk, you've come to the right place because we're going to get to football. But can you tell me, Kev, your timeline, your television screens, is it filled with Marner talk like mine is?
Yes, every time I go on Twitter, it's like Marner. And they're all like, oh, he said it's horrible to play in Toronto. Screw him. And I saw your retweet and you went, yeah, you just proved him right.
Yeah, and that's my good friend. My good friend. My good friend Sid Sixero said that. Anyways, continue.
It's next to Vancouver, Toronto is like the most toxic Twitter there is in sports, period. Period. I don't care. You can take the Cowboys, you can take anybody. Toronto, Vancouver. It's horrible.
Well, as you and I discussed this morning about trying to keep things positive and not toxic, and that was football related, but I just want to say this. Sid and I worked together 20 plus years ago at the Score Sports Network. He's been on this show, and we've got what I think is a great professional relationship. But he and a few others, Nick Elberg is another, they're just stoking the fire. And trust me, I get it about Marner coming in and the boos. And he said this isn't a good place to play. All that stuff that you're saying, and you better be ready to boo him. Listen, if they can just keep it fun, then let's keep it fun. You know what I mean? But there's always somebody that ruins it. With fans, I'm talking about, that go damage Marner's parents' house or something like that. There's always those people, But I'll say this about Sid, and I say this very respectfully, but, okay, Marner left because he wanted a change after 9 seasons. I saw him getting bashed by the Toronto media for 9 years. He's like, hey, I'm out. I'll just leave. Going to go to Vegas, going to make $12 million a year, no tax state, perennial Stanley Cup champions. Everything's great. Bye. But they can't do that, right? They got to trash him. They're still trashing him. He's coming in tonight. Sid, you left Tim and Sid on Sportsnet because you wanted a change. And guess what? It obliterated that time slot. It's never been the same, but you wanted a change. You did the exact same thing, Sid, right? But you're bitching at Marner for doing that. So anyways, that's what I want to say.
Well, and now Marner could probably walk down the strip and not be recognized. He couldn't go out of his house in Toronto without being mobbed. So,
well,
come on. I mean, I would do it.
I think we all would, but they just seem so personally hurt. So anyways, Kev, like I said, I feel like a turd because you didn't think we were going to be talking about this, but I also knew that you could handle it. But you're from Vancouver. You live in Calgary. Those are all white-hot NHL media markets. But Toronto is next level. So I just wanted to mention that. But the one thing, okay, that's an unscheduled breaking news only because we are in Canada, and that is the big story. I'll come back more on that later. Kev said he wanted to talk about the NFL Conference Championships this weekend, and of course, it's a Football Friday. We're going to get into that too with Jim Barker in hour 2, and we have breaking news from college football today that's pretty big. But, okay, doubleheader Sunday, AFC Championship, New England at Denver, NFC Championship, Kevin, Seahawks are home to the LA Rams. So, I have notes here on this, but we all know the games, Kevin. I'm sitting here going, it's been a long week. Can we just kick it off already? It's Friday. It's just too much talk. Let's play.
But how can you not be excited to watch the Broncos game where you've got this kid, I don't even know how old he is, coming in, hasn't thrown a ball all year. Not one pass in a game. And he's in the second most important game of the year. And no pressure, though. No pressure. Just go out and have fun.
That is the poll question today. It is, do the Denver Broncos even have a chance against the New England Patriots in Sunday's AFC Championship? And to be honest with you, 57% of respondents so far voting on our polls are saying, no, they don't have a chance. Put me in the no. They don't have a chance. And I'm not normally that guy. Kev, I think you and I look at things a lot the same this way. You're in the game, so you have a chance. But he didn't get you to the game. Bo Nix did. So I'm voting no. They don't have a chance. What are you voting?
I voted no as well. I'm surprised it's 57%. I thought it was going to be closer to 80, 90%. This he's in trouble. He's in over his head. Who knows? It's happened before. We've seen it. The proverbial walk-on quarterback, and watch out. So can it happen? Yeah. Would I like to see it happen? Hell yeah. That would be exciting.
Wow. And that's the fun part about sports. The ratings are going to be through the roof anyways. And it goes back to this Marner leaves thing. Hey, I get it. 2 days of hype leading up to it. Everybody's going to be watching. I get it. But we'll have our say just like they have their say. Let's not all get nitpicky. Okay, and speaking of that, let's open up the comments section. Speaking of people being nitpicky, let's hear what you have to say about all the things going on in the wonderful world of sports. Jim Barker coming up in Ranteed today as well. Kevin the Medium and I will return after this brief pause. We're just getting going on the Game Plus television network across Canada and 33 U.S. states.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are live on the Game Plus TV network. Kevin the Medium's with me. We're going to get to football right away. I just got to get this off my chest, and it's a very small thing, but we built up last night's games. There was such a letdown. The Florida-Winnipeg game, despite the Panthers winning in a shootout, was a snoozer. I tune in the Vegas Golden Knights-Boston game. I see the Bruins score 3 goals in like 41 seconds. Bing, that's over. The Oilers crap themselves against Pittsburgh. Sometimes, what is more of a downer, Kev, than when you wait all day for a game and is that happening? Or is that every Canucks game?
Yeah, I was going to say I'm a Canucks fan. Come on, Rod. The difference is now I just don't look forward to the games. It's like torture having to watch them. But you're right. Last night was just, I don't know if there was something in the moon or some kind of energy happening, but you know what I did? I grabbed some obsidian. It's a crystal. It gets rid of negativity. So I'm going to hold it for the rest of the show to get rid of all the negativity.
I love obsidian. Is that obsidian green, like the Rough Riders' third jerseys?
No, it's black.
Oh, okay. But it's called obsidian, so similar to that third jersey color for Sask. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, when it's green, that just means negative.
Okay. Well, listen, you and I are going to keep it as positive as possible. I can't vouch for the viewers, however, but so let me now to the real fun stuff. Bo writes, not that it hasn't been fun. Bo writes in from Saskatoon and says, good morning, everyone. Thanks to minus 49-degree wind chill, I get to watch the RP show live. Let's heat it up. That's positive. Yes. Carlos writes in regarding the Denver Broncos. Carlos says, I think they have a chance, but it's slim any given Sunday and all that, but I doubt it's happening. John in Edmonton says, what's a downer is the Vancouver Canucks games on Sportsnet. I fall asleep during them. And Jeff the Stamps fan says, Alex Singleton will carry the Broncos on the sidelines all the way to victory. Okay, because I'm in a charitable mood, I'm going to throw whatever order we had out the window and just jump all over the place. So you're wearing your Seahawks jersey, Kev? Is that what you're wearing?
Yes. This is an oldie. This is I don't know if you remember him, Galloway.
Joey Galloway, of course. Yeah.
Number 84.
Yeah. Did you ever go to a game in the old Seattle Kingdom?
This is where I got this. I was working at a stereo place, and RCA took us down. It was the middle of August, I think it was, and they called it Canada Day. Maybe it was October. And they called it Canada Day because Flutie was playing for Buffalo. And it was a party. I don't remember the second half.
I believe that. Well, we, in 1995, with the Regina Pats, were on a road trip, and our owners very charitably took the whole team to a Seahawks game at the Kingdom. It was the first NFL game I'd ever been at, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. I remember walking around the concourse there, just talking to some guy randomly, and he's like, oh, you guys are a hockey team. Who are you playing? I said, well, Seattle, and then we're playing Tacoma, but I don't know where that is. He goes, oh, hang on. He opens the door. He goes, that's Tacoma. And we were in Seattle. You know the area. You're from there. So that was fun. By the way, don't mind me. I gotta get my props for the upcoming thing that you teed me up for. You and I should have pre-show meetings every day. Things just go so much better. But the breaking news from the college football I was mentioning to the college football will remain a 12-team field in 2026. Sources told ESPN's Pete Thamel this morning. We'll get into more of that in hour 2, but there was talk that it should go to 16. Then if it went to 16, it would go to 24. No, it's staying 12 teams this year. So that's the one thing. On these NFL playoff games, because we got CFL talk coming up, there's a teaser for everybody. I wrote a few things down from ESPN. It's not like they don't know what they're doing, Kev, but their talking points this morning were a little silly. Like one was, I wrote it down. Does Matt Stafford need to be elite Sunday for Rams to win? Everybody needs to be elite. It's the conference championship.
What a stupid, that's just, does Gretzky need to play for when he was playing for them to, come on. Of course, you got to be elite every game.
Everybody needs to be. I'm going to tell you right now, if he's not, they'll lose. Sam Darnold needs to be elite. Who comes up with these questions, you know? And this is kind of a poll question. Well, back to the Seahawks and the Rams for a second, because that is your team. And I'm glad that you got a Seahawks jersey on here today. That's clearly the game of the day. I mean, I was going to have this as a poll question. What will be the better game? But I think it's not even close. I think the Patriots go into Denver and just roll Stidham and the Broncos. I really do. But the Seahawks-Rams, is there a part of you that thinks that Seattle doesn't win this game?
You're always a little nervous going in because they're two good teams. Obviously, they wouldn't be in the conference final if they weren't. So did I bet money on the Seahawks? Yeah, I did. I'm confident we're going to win, but which is the better game is going to be the Seahawks game. I think the more interesting game might be the other game just for the storyline. Can this backup who hasn't thrown a ball all season, I think in 2 years he hasn't thrown a ball. Can he pull it off? That's going to be interesting to watch.
That is the wonderful thing about the NFL is the storylines. Just out of pure morbid curiosity, who did you put your bet with? What sports betting company?
Coolbet.ca.
Oh, nice. Okay, coolbet.com. Okay, from the audience, John in Edmonton writes that he says, Seahawks are going to lose on Sunday. Sorry, Kevin. Rams all the way. Blaine writes in, he says, go Seahawks. I saw 2 games there a year apart, 1983 and 1984. Eric from Vancouver writes in and he says, Kevin wins for the best background on Football Friday. Oh, you saw it. Jeff the Stamps fan says it'll be Alex Singleton's Broncos versus Deacon Jones Rams. Both have ties to the Calgary Stampeders. Okay, fair. And I have one more comment before we switch it around to CFL. And this, one more point. This is like point 3 B or C. I'm not sure. But I want to. Well, I saw this morning. It was in USA Today. It's still my favorite newspaper to read, quite frankly, and it has been for 30 years, just because of the coverage of everything. They referred to the NFL coaching carousel and interview process as being absurd. And I'm like, is this clickbait? Click. And I read the column, and then, and I'm like, wait a minute. The guy's probably right. Because of this, Kev, 10 coaches being fired as it is absurd. It's insane, but it is what it is. Mike McDaniel, the coach of the Dolphins, gets fired last week by Miami, gets hired this week by the Chargers as the offensive coordinator, and then today he's interviewing with the Bills to be their head coach. He just got hired in LA this week.
It's insane. And you look at those 10 coaches that were fired, they're probably all will be employed by the start of next season in some fashion in the NFL. It's bizarre to me. It's just, like you say, it's just a hamster wheel, just going round and round and round.
Yeah, and I guess I shouldn't say firings because Mike Tomlin stepped down in Pittsburgh, and I truly do believe that was his decision. But 10 openings either way. Yeah. Tomlin is the only guy that's not going to coach next year by his own volition. He's said that he's going to take a year off. I'll be interested to see if he comes back into it. But I don't know how much you're following it. Like, are you enjoying? I'm not enjoying it. I'm barely following it at all. Are you enjoying it?
No, I don't follow it. Why would you? I have people on my feeds that are excited about it and they're giggly about it. And I'm like, why would you be happy about somebody being fired? Like, I don't get it. I'm a irrational fan. I've seen coaches come and go. Vancouver, I mean, we change our coaches more than we change our underwear. It's insane, but it's never fun. I don't think.
No, and that's the one thing is the firings are that, but now this thing of we have interviewed this guy. They're putting it out on their Twitter. We've interviewed this guy for our job. I don't care. Okay, hire somebody and call the news conference. That's the part. I'm not enjoying it, but I know a lot of people are. Now, okay, so Kevin alerted me to this morning. Point 3C. Here's the props for you. Chris Jones has been hired as an assistant coach at the University of Louisiana Monroe. Sources have told 3downnation.com he will serve as the team's defensive pass game coordinator and also work with the defensive backs. The 59-year-old from South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, most recently worked as a senior associate director of player personnel at the University of North Carolina. And listen, I spent a lot of time around Chris Jones. When he gets with another guy from Tennessee and they get talking, you can't even understand them. You need subtitles on the bottom of the... What the hell did you two just say? Oh, that's something right there. Your thoughts on Chris Jones going to Louisiana Monroe, please.
He always lands on his feet. He's one of those guys that no matter how many times they try to knock him down, he just stands on his feet and moves forward. But I will do anything to get Rod to do Chris Jones impersonations on the air because I think it's your best impersonation. I've never met him, and I look forward to one day meeting him because I think I'll start laughing when he talks.
Didn't you meet him at the scouting, the combine in Edmonton? I was sure you did. Just before you met G-Roy?
Oh, maybe I did.
Yeah. No, you did. You did. I guess it wasn't that memorable.
Well, because then I met G-Roy.
Oh, right.
And everything else was secondary.
You know what? I have those anxiety blackouts myself. So you get so excited that you just, I was so excited in 1992 when the George Strait movie Pure Country came out. I drove down from Prince Albert to Saskatoon and watched it at Pacific Cinema. I was so excited, I forgot the whole movie. I was so excited. So that was Kevin with G-Roy Simon. But no, I introduced you to Chris Jones. And by the way, Jeff, the Stamps fan. Yeah. Yes, it was. Thank you. It was right on the corner of the field. Okay.
Yes, I remember it.
Now that was that like the highlight of your life that day? I kind of feel like it's up there, top 3 anyways.
Well, you know what was even more a bigger highlight was when I ran into G-Roy the second time and he went, "Your name's Kevin." And I was like, the dude remembered my name. My hero, like one of the greatest to play the game, remembered my name.
Well, that don't surprise me at all because I know G-Roy, a very, very, very special person. When he left the Riders after the 2013 season, he sent me a text, and I think I still have it on my phone. It was so special and so warm that I thought it was like I didn't even write it back because I thought it was he's sending this to everybody. And then the next time I saw him, he's like, "Did you get my text when I left?" I'm like, "Oh, you meant that?" That's G-Roy, man. He's a special guy. And to me, so too is Chris Jones, by the way. Carlos in Indianapolis. Well, no, hang on. Jeff the Stamps fan says, "Have you had those glasses on all along?" No, I have not. They're special. Chris Jones were the Tampa Bay Lightning glasses that they sent me. Carlos in Indiana says, "Sounds like a good pickup for ULM, Louisiana Monroe, but I get the feeling it's only going to be a season or two before Chris Jones moves on elsewhere, hopefully up." Here's the thing, and we're running out of time. I'm going to have to carry this over to the next segment. But if you truly love your job, guys, and what you do, they don't care. Jones wasn't coaching at UNC. He wasn't happy there because he wasn't coaching. So everybody, it's like me. Listen, I'm doing high school baseball here, high school football. I've had people make comments, "Hopefully you're in the pros against it." I just love doing it. And do you want to know what high school sports pays in Florida? Like, oh my God. It's something that people no. 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 Oh yeah. Yeah. But that's another reason why I do it. But we love I wouldn't do it at this stage of the game for free. No. We are going to come back. We've got through a lot of our topics, but we have several more to go. It's a Football Friday, and thank you, Kev, for your list of things to talk about. It's made it a lot easier. We'll be right back. We're across Canada and 33 U.S. states now on Game Plus television.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner.
Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Taking care of business, the text line is open for Western Dodge. Are you ready for a new ride? Head to Western Dodge where the deals are real and the service is legendary. We got all kinds of messages coming in there. Rep the show you love. Shop the Rod Pedersen Show store today at rodpedersen.com. Click on RP store. I feel like we got to get some sunglasses, some shades in there. Okay, Kev, from the audience, before we go back to the goofiness regarding the NFL Conference Championships games this weekend, Tony from Cochrane says there were no upsets on division weekend, so there will definitely be one this weekend. Trouble is, which one? No. There's always one on wild card weekend, and then no guarantees after that. Yes. That's my take. Ryan in upstate New York says, good day, Rod Squad. Happy Football Friday. Oh, Ryan, if you missed a lot, you might want to rewind. Bill in the Queen City writes in. He says, good morning, crew. This should be a good weekend to watch football. Minus 40 degrees Celsius here. Oh, no, I know. And for those that are tired of Mitch Marner talk, this is the place to come. Although my dagnabbit, gosh darn it, is that entertaining? Which reminds me, Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in. He says, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Rod doing Chris Jones impressions. LOL. You don't get it. We used to drive around Florida, me and Luke, my color guy with the riders. We would come down for these camps and just do Chris Jones impressions for hours. Hours. Listen, Kev, those free agent camps, which they still do, but not the way Jones did them, they were like the circus freak tryouts or America's Got Talent. All the bearded ladies and 7-foot freaks. That's what Jones did at the tryouts. Oh, yeah. And we would sit there and go, where'd you find that guy, Chris? This is what would be our drives. I saw this guy hauling big screen TVs out of a Walmart. And we're like, Murph, get that guy's phone number. Stuff like that. Oh, yeah. It never gets old. It never, ever gets old. Okay. Your thoughts, Kev? You sat patiently through the break. Your thoughts on anything? Because I could go on forever on this stuff.
This has been one of my favorite episodes I've been on. I just can't stop laughing. It's good. It's fun.
We got to have fun, right? Greg is watching in Calgary, the YYC. He writes in, we used to watch it on Game Plus TV. He says, hey, Rod, Denver has a defense and home field, so they have a chance. Well, this is the reverse psychology of everything. If I was Sean Payton, and God knows he's one of the best coaches in the NFL, that would be the first thing in my pregame speech is nobody's giving you guys a chance, right? That would be the first thing I would be saying, Kev.
Oh, Hell yeah, I would be, and I would play up on that over and over during the game, halftime. It would be just, guys, they don't think we can do it. Let's go out and show them. We're not one guy. Well, you kind of are because he's your quarterback, and your other guy, he's kind of not been there.
Yeah. Well, actually, when I said we were going off-roading here, we've gone so far off-road, we couldn't find the road. Well, I am. I'm punching it into the GPS here. Here's what I had. Well, the Patriots are starting MVP finalist Drake May. The Broncos are starting backup Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't thrown a pass in over 2 years. He's just the second quarterback in NFL history to make his first start in a conference championship. The other is Roger Staubach with the 1972 Cowboys, which actually worked out okay for Raj.
Yeah,
and then the other game, and then this is the 9th time in the NFC Championship since the 1970 merger that the number one scoring offense, LA, has faced the number one scoring defense, Seattle, in the conference championship. Good news for the Seahawks. The top defense went 7-1 in the first 8 meetings. I've got to be honest, the numbers are all lining up to me to a Seahawks victory. Like, how much investigating have you done into the game, Kev?
You know me. I'm not a stats guy. I look at wins and losses, and Seattle's on a streak. What is it now? 9 in a row, I think, or is it 10?
Consecutive wins? I'm not actually sure, but what I do know is that Thursday night game where they, in overtime, beat these LA Rams, and they went 3 for 3 in 2-point converts in that game. I'm like, oh man, I feel like such a front runner to say this, but I'm like, when I watched that, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the team of destiny. As a matter of fact, there was one topic earlier this week, because my favorite show is that Mike Florio on NBC Sports Radio. Oh my God, he makes me laugh. He's so good. Frankly, he kind of reminds me of me. But he said, which of the 4 teams alive still has the team of destiny aroma around it? And to me, that's Seattle. But maybe I'm sure you'd agree.
Oh, they've had it the last half of the season where it looks like they were going to lose, and they've literally pulled it off in the last seconds. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I keep saying it, so I'm just going to say it again. Seattle by 3, and then they're going to blow them out, and it's going to be a 40-point spread.
Dude, I was thinking of you last Sunday when you said Seattle by 3. And they won by 35.
Well, there was more than 3.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. What do we got here? Tony in Cochrane says, I'd rather have a number 80 Seahawks jersey, Steve Largent. And he let Jerry Rice wear the number on his short 2004 stint with the Seahawks. Hey, they're all good. John in Edmonton writes in, he says, hey, what do you think will be a bigger headline in the CFL this season? Attendance numbers or Luke Wilson still continuing to criticize the CFL? I don't know what'll be the biggest storyline in the CFL this year. I don't know. I was not prepared for that.
How about the games are great?
That would be a novel. As my mom would say, wouldn't that be a trick?
Right?
To talk about the games. Well, that's the one thing. Hey, I was sitting there this morning. Listen, it's Friday, and I'm out running, listening to Florio this morning, very early this morning, and they're still talking about the owner of the Bills news conference. I'm like, you guys got games on Sunday. But I'm sure at some point they were going to get to that, but they were still talking about Terry Bakula. Like, listen, Kev, as the Canucks fan that you are, when is the last time the Aquilinis ever even did address the media? Like, this Terry Bakula's being run through the mud so bad, he ain't going to talk to the media for another 8 years or 7 years. The last time he did was 2019. That's why I'm saying let's have more of these.
I wouldn't, if I was dragged through the mud for speaking like that, I would stop speaking. It's like, okay, I'm not making any public comment ever again because you guys suck. I make it. You keep complaining. I don't make a public statement, and then I make a public statement. What do? You bitch, you whine, blah, blah, blah. Come on, you can't have it both ways.
Well, it's a very tough time in the world right now. As you see, Kevin and I are both grinning, because we have other careers away from the media. Because the one thing Florio was saying about Pagula this morning was he was sitting there for an hour trying to convince all the media and the fans to his line of thinking. Because that's the way just people are, not just owners. It's like, they're not agreeing with you. Drop it. End the news conference. But they can't. People can't. Yeah, people can't, Kev. Have you noticed?
Yes. It's bizarre. I don't get it. But you're right. The energy in society right now is so messed up. I deal with it on a regular basis all day long. And that's why I have my protection.
Well, hey, that's why I enjoy these 2 hours the most. And that's what I hear from our audience is the same. I think we're up against it for time. Are we not, Producer Corey, for a break coming up here shortly? Yeah. When? Okay, we got 90 seconds, Kev. Thank you, Producer Corey. Arlen Bruce writes in, he says, great day, RP and Kev in the medium. Nice jersey, Kev. I'll pick my Super Bowl picks next week. That's funny. This weekend, I'm just going to be neutral. Great show, RP. Kev, quick shout out for Cavelli Channeling. You got a minute. Let's get you loaded up.
Finishing up with my sale that we're having, $50 for an hour. You can book as many sessions as you want throughout the whole entire year. As long as you book it by January 31st, it's $50. It's going to be $100, so it's half price off. Remind me that you listen to me on the RP show. It'll even be better.
Use the promo code RP show, and you'll get a special deal, $50. I'm telling you, man, Kev's the best fortune-telling mediumship he is. Way to go, Kev. This has been a hell of a lot of fun. Thanks. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games.
Thanks, buddy. You too. We'll talk during the weekend.
Jim Barker and Rand Teed on the way today. It's a Football Friday, and we'll be right back. You're watching live across Canada and 33 U.S. states right here on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, podcast, and WQVZ Radio.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's a Football Friday, and we got so much to get to. I'm praying that we can get to it all before the top of the hour. And then in hour two, we go to Air Across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Jim Barker will be joining us to talk football and recovery legend Rand Teed. All our worlds are intersecting here, colliding in a really good way. The Golden Knights and Mitch Marner at Toronto tonight. A stone's throw from the Game Plus studios. We got that. We got football. And listen, I've been doing Chris Jones impressions. I actually called Kevin this morning. I said, what do you want to talk about? Just so I don't catch you off guard like I did yesterday. He goes, well, Chris Jones is leaving the UNC to go to University of Louisiana Monroe. I'm like, what? I didn't even know that. So that got me doing Chris Jones impressions. And Wayne from Victoria, BC writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, this has been a funny Football Friday on the RP show. It's going by too fast for my liking. Well, you can go back and watch it again if you want. I don't know what to tell you about that. But I will say this about those Jones football camps with the Rough Riders that we had in Florida. That's where I guess it was long before Chris Jones I started coming here. 2014, Corey Chandler was our coach, was the first one that I went to. And that's when I fell in love with the state of Florida. And then we came here every year for the next 4 or 5 years. It was awesome. All over Florida, Vero Beach, Bradenton, West Palm Beach. And I feel like a little like Gianni Versace when he went to South Beach. Story, if you've watched the documentary, the story goes he was driving down Ocean Drive, looking around. He's like, I like it. I'll take it. And he did. Same with me. I'm like, this is where I want to live. And I did. Okay. Here's the breaking news. Really big deal in college football. We'll spend far more time on it next hour. The college football playoff is going to remain a 12-team field next season. Sources told ESPN's Pete Thamel this morning. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey has publicly supported a 16-team model. A lot have, but Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti would only agree to it if Sankey committed to a 24-team field after 3 years. Sources told ESPN. So they're staying at 12, and we'll get Jim Barker's take on that. Meanwhile, Indiana's win over Miami in the national title game here Monday night averaged 30.1 million viewers, making it the most watched non-NFL sports telecast since Game 7 of the 2016 World Series. You want to talk about big business? College football is that. So Mitch Marner will make his return to Toronto tonight when the Vegas Golden Knights visit the Leafs. As if y'all didn't know, Marner headed west after 9 seasons with his hometown Leafs when the teams agreed to a sign and trade before free agency last summer. Marner was booed by Leafs fans who traveled to Vegas for the Golden Knights win over Toronto last Thursday. He had 2 assists in that game, and the Golden Knights won. But nobody wants to talk about that. So listen, I'm enjoying the pomp and the circumstance and the pageantry and all the rest. This is Super Bowl-worthy hype going into the game. But the one thing is I had to pump the brakes on some of it because I've seen media people, it's one thing for fans, but media guys talking about how they're going to boo Marner tonight. I'm like, hey, whatever. Yeah, narrow minds judge. And I'm not judging anybody. I was the biggest homer of all time, but I also was being paid by the damn team. And what these guys aren't. What? Why are you so personally hurt that Mitch Marner left? And so, And I also get it's fun. If we can keep it fun, let's keep it fun. Sid Sixero, my old coworker at the Score, we go back a long ways. He's just stoking the fire, the bellows on the fire, and priming the pump. And that's fine if you don't mean it and it's not personal. But I feel like the Leafs media and the fans think that it's personal. And I'm like, Sid, you left him and Sid because you wanted to change. Just like Mitch left the Leafs because he wanted to change. And it did that to the afternoon time slot on Sportsnet Radio in Toronto. I've seen the ratings, television and radio, man. You did the same thing. The Scotties Tournament of Hearts begins tonight, and the field is wide open. World number 1, Rachel Homan, won't go for a three-peat, though, in Mississauga as she prepares for the upcoming Olympic Games. Carrie Anerson will represent Canada and look to claim her 5th national title. The sports update is brought to you by our good friends at Ultimate Fan Zone. Are you looking for the hottest fan gear? Swing by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store in Moose Jaw or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca, where real fans get their gear. Okay. The YouTube chat is wide open. Vancouver Eric writes in regarding Terry Pagula getting ripped apart, the owner of the Bills, for his comments the other day. And he's saying, Eric says, owners need to stay out of the news. That's why teams have general managers. No, but here's the thing. Would you not like, Eric, to hear from the Aquilinis if you're a Canucks fan? I see your comments about the Canucks on social media and here. Well, look, come in, let's hear what they have to say. I went through this yesterday. I don't know if you were here, Eric, or not, but I love when the owners sit down at the microphone. And to be honest, the Terry Pagula in Buffalo hadn't addressed the media since 2019. They don't really like to do that. And he won't be doing it for another 7 years after the way he's been ripped apart. And again, I'm just enjoying the coverage of it because Pagula said, I walked into the dressing room and that's when I knew. Those players were so upset. That's when I knew that Sean McDermott had to go. Analyst this morning, Michael Hawley on NBC Sports Radio with Florio goes, every locker room after a playoff loss is like that. Every single one. I enjoy it because the owners believe that everybody else is stupid. You might be smarter than everybody. It's how you made your billions. I get it. It doesn't mean everybody else is stupid, however. So let's hear what they have to say. I'm enjoying it. Oh, and the other one, by the way, is here in Miami on, what was it, yesterday, the day before? They introduced the new Dolphins general manager and coach. And sitting right in the front row was Troy Aikman, with a Dolphins lapel pin on his coat. Troy Aikman with a Dolphins pin. I mean, we talk about owners. Jerry talks every Tuesday in Dallas on his radio show and after every game. Man, we get too much of it in Dallas. And why is Troy Aikman working for the Dolphins? Don't get me started. Well, Carlos in Indiana writes in, he says, some owners are fun to hear from. Right, well, that guy in Indianapolis, Jim Irsay, he was a riot to listen to. Which, by the way, Carlos, I see the FBI has opened an investigation into his death. You want to give me some details on that? Yeah, that's when the FBI gets involved, it's you go, boys. On the text line for Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. Darren in Melfort writes in, he says, about the Scotties, Anerson gets to be Team Canada because Homan is off to the Olympics. Next year's Scotties, does Homan get it back? Internet won't tell me. And you're the closest thing to it. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, because we're the curling insiders here. I mean, listen, I'll get the answer for you. I can get the answer for you. My mind's not there, clearly. But I got some really great friends with Curling Canada. They sponsored this program back in the day. Vintage Sasko writes in on the text line, 902-518-3038. He says, hey, Corey Hart and Full House Hughes. Out-of-pocket question, should the CFL have a flag all-star game in the winter? The league needs winter buzz, baby. Signed, Vintage Sasko. Well, of course they should. Chris Jones says, yes, they should. Mark's CFL week was canned. during COVID? The answer is yes. We all know the answer is yes. A lot of us have been waving that flag for a real long time. Well, hey, Vancouver Eric writes in and he says, Aikman with a Dolphins pin is like G-Roy wearing green. Oh, I get it, but I'll tell you what, we were real happy to have G-Roy and Sask, and I'm sure the Dolphins are real happy to have Troy Aikman on their side. I just found it interesting that Stephen Ross, the Dolphins owner, brings in Aikman to consult, and within a week, they're naming the new coach and GM tandem, and there's Troy in the front row. Let's hope, for the Dolphins' sake, that it works out the way that it was planned. Real different, like... How many times have I said on this show, there's what you all think you see or what you do see, and then there's what's really going on. I follow the Cowboys real closely, but this is not the Dallas Cowboys show, obviously, so I don't talk about it a whole lot. But Troy Aikman and Jerry Jones don't get along. Who the hell was it on here? Carius the other day saying how, in the Cowboys documentary, how great it is on Netflix. I'm like, did you not notice in there that Aikman and Jerry Jones don't get along? I mean, I could pick that up with what Troy was saying, and that's why he's not working for the Cowboys. And it's sad. It's sad. He should be there. Troy Aikman should not be working for the Miami Dolphins. I find it real interesting how the NFL just looks the other way. They're breaking the rules of this. Tom Brady, you're not supposed to be an owner or working for one team, and on television, Aikman's doing the same thing. They don't care because it's Troy Aikman and Tom Brady. Frankly, I think that's good. They're doing what's best for the NFL. And in the case of G-Roy, Wally didn't want him anymore. It sucks. Wally didn't want Jason Claremont anymore. Are we going to sit here and argue with Wally? I don't think so. But Jason Claremont helped get us to a Grey Cup. G-Roy helped win us a Grey Cup. Everything happens for a reason. You guys talk about Corey Hart and me wearing my sunglasses at night. I remember going to the Agrodome, vintage Sasko, Summer Fair, Buffalo Days, 1986, and I'm looking through the crack of the door because I couldn't afford tickets, and Corey Hart was singing Sunglasses at Night in the Agrodome. Oh, my God. Stood there for as long as I could until they slammed the door and kicked me out of there. I was like 13. Been doing it for a real long time. Hour 2 coming up with Jim Barker and Rand Teed. Stick around, everybody, here on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Buckle up. And as the song says, giddy up, go Getty. Hope you're ready for the weekend. I'm going to tell you right now, my ribs are sore from laughing so hard already on this program. So hello to the Nevada viewers tuning in on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. And hello again to those watching on the Game Plus TV network across Canada and 33 U.S. states. I would suggest Carlos in Indiana, who's watching live, said it best. For those who only get hour 2, you missed a great hour 1. That's why my sides are sore from laughing so hard. And when's the last time you can actually say that in this godforsaken world that we live in? When's the last time that you could say, you laugh so hard, your ribs are sore? That's what we've had today. I'm going to tell you a couple things coming up in the second segment, the guest segment today. Jim Barker, our usual guest, former Vegas resident, 5-time Grey Cup champion, football guy. To talk about the breaking news right out of the bag right now is that the college football playoff is staying at 12 teams for at least 2026. I didn't see that coming. I thought they were going to 16, but there's a good reason why they're not. And the viewers want Jim Barker's take on that. And then on Fridays, we always have a second guest. And usually it's Moose or Joe. Today, it's recovery legend Rand Teed, the man who's been my mentor in the mental health and addiction recovery field, my counselor. He's brought me along in the coaching vein. He's got a very special event coming up next month that he wants to promote on the program. And when Rand asks for something, after what he's done for me, he gets it. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay. We got to go fast because we got a lot to get to. And when I say worlds collide, I love that. Game Plus TV is anchored in Toronto. Silver State Sports Entertainment Network anchored in Las Vegas. Tonight, Vegas is at Toronto. But we talked about that a lot in hour 1. And I'm pretty sure that people are tired across Canada of talking about Mitch Marner's return. I'll get to my thoughts on that in a second. But we're now on across Nevada and the 33 U.S. states, and they don't care about the Leafs. They care about Sunday's NFL Conference Championship games. And while the Patriots are starting MVP finalist Drake May Sunday at Denver, the Broncos are starting backup Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't thrown a pass in over 2 years. We all know the story. He's just the second quarterback in NFL history to make his first start of the season in a conference championship. The other, Roger Staubach, Dallas Cowboys, back in 1972. The poll question today is, do the Broncos have any chance to win? It was actually across the ticker this morning. Maybe the U.S. viewers saw it on ESPN. How confident are you in May versus the Broncos? We shouldn't probably get ahead of ourselves because Drake May is still a young quarterback too. He's probably younger than Jarrett Stidham. Oh, yeah, he is. But he's also an MVP candidate. My confidence in May is like 7 or 8 out of 10, and my confidence in the Patriots winning the game is 10 out of 10. But the poll question is, do the Broncos even have a chance? It's brought to you by EMJ Marketing. From impactful speakers to strategic marketing, EMJ Marketing is your all-in-one solution. Visit them at emjmarketing.com. 57% of you saying no, they don't have a chance. I know, and the football people will say, you're in the game, so you have a chance. The caveat here is Jared Stidham didn't get you to the game. Bo Nix did. So, oh my God, 3 p.m. Eastern, Sunday. The storylines are rife, but that's not the game of the day. It's the NFC Championship. Rams at Seahawks, and it's the 9th time since the 1970 merger that the number one scoring offense, which is owned by the LA Rams, has faced the number one scoring defense, the Seahawks, in the conference championship. And the good news is for Seattle, the top defense, the defensive side went 7-1 in the first 8 meetings. So this is the 9th. So they got home field. They split the season series 1-1, but the most recent game was won by the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football in Week 17. Oh, dagnabbit. It's just going to be a fantastic Sunday of football. Point 2 of the Quick Six show topics is simply this. It's last night's NHL games. I'm going to tell you that they were a letdown. I hate when you wait all day for the games and then they suck. And that's what happened. Now, I was happy that the Florida Panthers won at Winnipeg 2-1 in a shootout. Sorry, Jets fans watching in Winnipeg, our number 2 region for viewership. I get it, but I live in Florida. Those are my guys, the Panthers. And it was 0-0 almost into the third period. So it wasn't a good game, you would agree. Worse was the Golden Knights. I'm like, you know what? They're playing out in the Eastern time zone. Let's watch. Flip over to, they're playing in Boston. Bing, bing, bing. Bruins score 3 goals in 41 seconds. I'm like, what the hell? Golden Knights came back, made it 4-3, but don't matter. That game sucked. And then Pittsburgh at Edmonton. You want to talk about the of them all? Stuart Skinner's return with the Penguins into Edmonton. He didn't even play. And the Penguins motorboated the Oilers 6-2. Tristan Jarry got blown up. And oh my God, I can't imagine the goaltending controversy in Edmonton today. And Stuart Skinner probably sipping a cool Starbucks. Don't even care. Our picks are brought to you by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Pump Jack's Weyburn, Pump Jack's Cathedral. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Point 3, and I know it's Football Friday, so I'll make this quick. And all the other stations are talking about Mitch Marner making his return to Toronto tonight. It's Super Bowl-worthy hype, no doubt. I'm here for that. When the Vegas Golden Knights visit the Maple Leafs in NHL play, for those that have been living in Tibet in a cave, Marner headed west after 9 seasons with his hometown Leafs when the teams agreed to sign and trade deal before free agency last summer. So here's the thing. I'm enjoying the coverage of this to a point. It's where this media business has gone. I don't like it, but I also know it ain't going back. But when I see media members talking about how they're toning up their vocal cords to boo Mitch Marner, what? And then my good friend, I think he's my good friend, Sid Sixero. We worked together 20 plus years ago at the Score Sports Network. He's gone on to great things. I've gone on to great things. We see each other periodically, get along great and laugh. He's an outstanding broadcaster. But he's all up Mitch Marner's ass today about leaving Toronto and saying this isn't a good place to play. I'm like, you're proving what he said is right. Which I put on social media, and I got Leaf fans coming at me saying, Austin Matthews doesn't seem to have a problem with it. Marner wanted out. Let him go. It's not a jail, last I looked. And I've never seen a situation where the media is so personally hurt by somebody leaving a team. You ran him out of town. Move on. So we'll see what happens tonight. The Leafs were in Vegas last week. Golden Knights won 6-5 in extra time. Marner had a couple of assists. I would think if he's like any other player I know, the more you boo him, the more he's going to want to ram it down your throat. So way to go. Way to go. And when you wonder why these Canadian markets struggle to win, So hard on your own players when they're with the team, and after they leave, it's a hell of a story. And the thing, I said it a couple times about Sid, but it's true. For those that don't know, he was one half of Tim and Sid, the famed broadcast duo that didn't put Sportsnet on the map, but they're on the Mount Rushmore of Sportsnet broadcasters. And Sid left because he wanted a change. Went the afternoon time slot for Sportsnet. Look at the ratings, TV. You did the exact same thing, Sid. Okay. Back to football. Point 4. The college football playoff will remain a 12-team field in 2026. ESPN reporting that this morning, and then it's been confirmed by the NCAA. And just so you know, the Canadian people they don't get it. The networks Friday morning broke into programming with this news. They've been waiting all week since Monday night's national championship game because today was the deadline for a decision. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey publicly supported a 16-team model, but Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti would only agree to it if they went to a 24-team field after 3 years. Sources told ESPN. Multiple sources have said that that's not something that Sankey wanted to do. So they're staying at 12. And to be honest, that surprises me a lot. I thought 16 was a nice number, but the point is they couldn't stay at 16 for long. They wanted to go to 24 teams after 3 years. I think 24 is too much. A lot of our viewers want Jim Barker's take on that. He's coming up in the next segment. He'll have thoughts on that. For the CFL fans, I'm going to throw this in there because something about Chris Jones, I don't know what it is about him. Speaking of another guy that people just can't stop talking about, Chris Jones has been hired as an assistant coach at the University of Louisiana Monroe, sources have told 3downnation.com. That's the way he talks, for those that don't know. The South Pittsburgh, Tennessee product will serve as the team's defensive pass game coordinator and also work with the defensive backs. The 59-year-old most recently worked as a senior associate director of player personnel at the University of North Carolina. Now, I haven't talked to Jones in a while, but I mean, we all have the same circle of friends. This just popped up this morning from 3downnation.com. So he was working with Belichick at UNC, and the story I got was that Jones wanted to coach. Just says here, he was a senior associate director of player personnel. That's not what Jones wants to do. He wants to coach. So for the people that don't know, we talked about this last hour. They're like, oh, hopefully he's back in the pros soon. Maybe, maybe not. He wants to coach. That's the one thing people don't understand is if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And with the level that I'm doing here in Florida, obviously the shows are going well, but I'm announcing high school football and baseball, and it's fantastic. I love it. I love the people. I love being at the park. It pays incredibly well. And if people don't understand that, I guess you've never really loved what you do. That was point 4A. No, 4A was the college football playoff. 4B was Jones. 4C is this. And I want Jim Barker's take on this too. My God, I can't wait to get Coach Barker on the air. Is the NFL coaching carousel and interview process absurd? As I read today, I'm laughing because Mike McDaniel was fired as coach of the Dolphins last week. This week named Chargers offensive coordinator, and he's interviewing. This week he was named the offensive coordinator of the LA Chargers, and then today he's interviewing to be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And then we received word that Phillip Rivers is interviewing for the Bills head coaching job as well. Are you enjoying this? The Buffalo Bills, I feel, are like Oprah Winfrey. You get an interview. You get an interview. You get an interview. It's officially absurd. And frankly, clearly the USA Today and I aren't the only ones that feel that way. And yes, it is 1:11 Eastern for our live audience. Yeah, we've established that visualizing a positive outcome does work. You should try it. Maybe Mike McDaniel will get the Bills job. But the memes that are going around with regards to this story are hilarious. And you got to be careful now with the fake news. I saw one account this morning. Breaking news from ESPN reports Mike McDaniel's changed his mind. He's now going to manage the LA Dodgers. Like, oh my God. What is this teaching people? Jeff in Toronto writes in, he says, as a Buffalo fan, I'm excited and nervous of hiring McDaniel. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, what I think is, number one, the Miami experience fried Mike McDaniel. I've seen it firsthand. He's not getting the Bills job. What I think is he took the Chargers job, and then the Bills, like I said, they're giving everybody interviews. He's like, well, I'm not going to say no. So I'll fly up to Buffalo and do the interview. Jeff says they're hiring Dayball and are interviewing everyone, so it looks like they searched and didn't get to just Dayball. Well, I would hope that's the case. I don't understand why you can't just go hire Brian Daboll. You want him? Go get him. Jim Barker is the football guy of all football guys, and he's interviewed for head coaching jobs, and he's interviewed for them. I don't know. Like the Giants said, John Harbaugh, go get him. And they did. That's how I would do it if I owned an NFL team, but I don't. Not every team is like that. Carlos in Indianapolis writes in, he says, 12 teams is fine. The playoffs don't need to be overly inclusive. No, but 16 would have got Notre Dame in this year and maybe a few others. I think 16 is right. That's just me. BW in Edmonton writes in and says, before last night, I was believing the dark horse Stanley Cup finalists would be Pittsburgh versus Edmonton. Now who knows? Funny you say that, because the one thing this morning on ESPN they were saying is, what's the best Super Bowl matchup out of the four? And then I wrote down, what's the best Stanley Cup final matchup? A prediction or the best, it's too early to say. It's wide open. Let's pick this up after the Olympics. Chief Johnny Moe writes in, he says, I liked how Taves picked the pocket on the Perfetti goal. That was a nice goal by Cole Perfetti. Mom's spaghetti. But I'll remind you who won the game. The Florida Panthers. Chief Johnny Moe goes on to say, hey, Rod, is that where I'd seen you growing up on the Score channel? Yep. I probably was. How old are you, Chief Johnny Moe? I'll never forget there was a head scout for the, Al, let's just call him Al, Tampa Bay Lightning, L.A. Kings. He said he was Al Murray. Sorry, brain fart. Invited me to their Stanley Cup party. He was in I was in a hotel in Toronto, and I heard your voice coming out of the TV. You were on the Score? Indeed. Great guy. Told you we would have fun today. Let's see if we can get Jim Barker laughing when we come back. Rand Teed coming up too, recovery legend. We're broadcasting across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and across Canada and 33 U.S. states now on Game Plus TV.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Have you signed up yet for the Rod Squad newsletter? It's free. It drops every Sunday afternoon at rodpeterson.com. Brought to you by Suds Regina. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Happy Friday, Coach. I'm going to jump right into it because we got a lot to get to. The viewers want to know your take on the college football playoffs staying at 12 teams. Did you think they'd come to that conclusion today?
Well, I knew there would probably be a big argument about it. 16 seems to be right to me, but the Big Ten, who is now the power conference, they've won it 3 straight years. They wanted 24 teams and so staying with 12 is good. I mean, college football, that it's as good as it gets, except for those, James Madison against Oregon and some of the mismatches that happen due to the mandatory things. And I think they'll continue to look at that in terms of the teams that get in. I thought this year was, again, the one team only that got a bye winning, making it now, a 1 in over 2 years, 1-7. It is a little bit disturbing that's an issue, and maybe it's in the calendar. They just need to tighten the calendar up a little bit. But in terms of the timing of the games and the how fantastic the games were, you can't ask for better. I mean, it's people who say, well, players are moving all over by the time the season ends, it doesn't matter. You never even think of Fernando Mendoza was at Cal the year before, and you don't think about where any of these players were 2 years ago. It's like, this is their team right now. It's going to go down as the greatest team in college football history, and they're 16-0. How can you argue it? And the only time when there's been a college football playoff, instituted, anything but they're the greatest college football team in history, to me is debatable. I mean, people can have their arguments, but I don't even care if a team was undefeated. Going through that college football playoff is a bit of it's tough. It's tougher. You're playing down the stretch those great teams to get to the final and championship, and then winning that is what it is. So I thought it was fantastic this year. I'd like to see him go to 16 and maybe eliminate some of the big mismatches, but I like where it was, and I don't see I don't see two conferences as big as the Big Ten and the SEC ever agreeing. You know, the Big Ten says, oh, yeah, we'll agree to what they want to do as long as in 2 years you put in what we want to do. You know, so you have these power hitters that are, you know, they're bullies. As I was reading it, I thought, wow, these are like NCAA bullies. So, you know, it's interesting. But in terms of where the college game is, you know, I think they're going to run out of money. I think they're going to run out of donors. I mean, the point's going to come. Players are making so much money now, and it'll affect our league a little bit. You know, it's tough for a kid who is an average quarterback in college making $2 million a year to say I'm going to come up to the Canadian Football League and, you know, hope I can get $500,000 a year. That becomes more difficult, and people don't understand how recruiting in the CFL is. You know, I'd forgotten about how, you know, it can be tough. And, you know, we recruit against the UFL, and that's a big one right now. And the UFL is having problems because the NFL, I talked to a couple people. I was at the American Bowl this week, a couple of NFL scouts from different teams, and they said the problem with the UFL guys is their stats are showing that when they come to camp for the NFL, basically the NFL uses them as bodies, as people to run routes and people to take reps away from their starters. And so, you know, I call them fillers. They're finding that guys that come out of the UFL, having just played 10 games or whatever it is they play, are getting hurt a lot more in training camp, causing NFL teams to have to pay injury settlements. So I think you might see the UFL signings go down a bit this year. Our signings, CFL signings, were up a lot, and I think we were 12 to 15 guys. I know Verisuk got $175,000 from the Colts to sign. So you know, there's good things happening about coming from our league. The other thing the NFL guys were talking about is the most valuable time they have for new players coming into their organization is the off season. And, you know, that's kind of a thing you miss when you're in the UFL. You miss the rookie camps, even you miss all of that, and you come and, like I say, become a filler. So I think the UFL is going to be in trouble as those numbers start to go down. They signed a bunch, but there's only currently 4. Aubrey and Turpin from the Cowboys special teams guys, and then 1 linebacker and 1 D lineman that are still with teams that are out of the UFL. So they'll talk about having 80 guys signed, but there's 4 still left after 3 or 4 years. So, you know, that's been an interesting thing for me in my new role is seeing the recruiting that goes on just to get guys to want to come up to the CFL.
Jim Barker with us from the Toronto Argonauts, and there's a lot to go through. I do want to credit Jersey Jim Behringer, who's watching on Game Plus TV in New Jersey, Dumont, New Jersey. He wanted your take on the college football playoff, and there's a lot of questions have come in, but I got to ask you about this coaching carousel. It's ridiculous. The viewers are confused. They're like, Mike McDaniel, didn't he just get hired by the Chargers? Yes, he did. And then he's interviewing with the Bills today. Jim, this is wrong. What the hell's going on?
See, it's not wrong. I mean, they get head coaching jobs because they're great coaches, okay? For whatever reason, Mike McDaniel got hired as the Miami Dolphins coach. Some guys, I was better as a coordinator than I ever was as a head coach. So when I got fired as a head coach, I had opportunities to go as a coordinator. But the money attracts you to the head coaching thing. And we all, you know, our egos get in the way, and we want to go where we can make the most money. And, you know, the bottom line is you're talking about 10 coaches and their staffs are all good coaches. To think they're not going to get other jobs, there's nothing absurd about that. In terms of who these teams are hiring, personally, if I fired a guy, I would know who I want to hire. For example, take the Giants. If they had fired Daboll and said, listen, we are going to sit tight, John Harbaugh's having a tough time, and that's who we want. And then as soon as he came free, they went out and they signed him. And it was never really him not going anywhere. The other teams, it's a little different. I honestly don't believe the Buffalo Bills fired Sean McDermott until the Josh Allen post press conference. That's what Terry Pegula said, was that press conference initiated him to make a move at head coach. He said he felt Josh's pain. Well, I don't know if he felt Sean's pain when Josh overthrew the guy on the 5-yard line that would have cemented the game when he overthrew the tight end, or he threw it behind a guy. I mean, he had a couple big plays in the fourth quarter he didn't execute. So again, when these things happen and how and why, it changes based on which organization. Jim Harbaugh, he must have seen something. Maybe he's worked with Mike McDaniel before and saw, okay, there's a guy who's available who I'd like to have as my offensive coordinator, and, for whatever reason. But then he's not going to sign until he's sure all the jobs that he's going for. So, yeah, there's rumor comes out that this guy's going there, but yeah, that's the way it goes this time of year. I don't think there's anything absurd about it. You got a bunch of really good people looking for jobs to feed their families. That's what you got.
Well, I think we mock what we don't understand as a society, and that's just me. I spent 20 years in 2 places. I couldn't imagine living like this, but I'm not a coach. I couldn't do it. Yet the coaches now are just so used to it, right? So
yeah, it's part, when you get into it, you understand. I mean, the first Division I job I took, I was there 6 months, got fired. I came up here to Canada in 1996 and was told, make sure you have a little backing because the league's a little volatile. And sure enough, I was in Montreal in 96. At the end of the season, we made it to the Eastern Final, lost to Toronto, and Mr. Gelfond, or the owner from Baltimore, didn't want to own the Alouettes anymore. So I was out of a job. And so I got the next job. Don Matthews called me to go to Toronto. And that's just become such a way of life. And is it great? No. But it's a part of what you sign up for, to never have to work a day of your life, like you talked about. But you do go through stress to get to that point.
No kidding. There's a lot of questions here. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Sunday's conference championship games. They're going to be great. What's your thumbnail thoughts on both?
On the Denver-New England game, I think Jarrett Stidham's going to be a lot better than people think he will be, and I think Sean Payton will have a plan that will allow him to have success. That defense is so stellar. I'm gonna take the home team and pick Denver. It's in Denver, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's in Denver, and I'm gonna take Denver to win based on that, the home field, and that Stidham will survive. Again, this is Drake May's first time in a championship. Obviously, he's a rookie. How is he going to respond? And so you got 2 basic rookies, Stidham, who hasn't played in this kind of a setting. But we remember what Nick Arbuckle did for the Argos when Chad Kelly got hurt and stepped in, went in, and won the game. And some guys have that ability. Everything Stidham has done, everything he has said publicly, just reeks of a guy who gets it, who understands his role, and now knows this is what he's paid to do right now. Not be a back. It's right now. Go win a Super Bowl. The team is behind you. Everybody's behind you. Be good enough to do that. And, that's why we look at our quarterback room with Chad Kelly and Nick Arbuckle. We have 2 guys that have won Grey Cup games. And there's huge value in that. Anybody else who comes in, you just, it's tough to say that they're backup if that guy ends up playing. So, in the other game, again, all week I thought the Rams, and I'm watching some film actually of a player from that was in Seattle in spring train in their camp, in their preseason, and the things they do on defense and the way they play on defense. That crowd in Seattle will be a factor. I don't know. I think I'm going to take the Rams just because I'm going to take Matthew Stafford over Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold still hasn't done it. He had a chance last year and didn't do it. Stafford, I think, it's his time, and so I'm gonna pick the Rams and Denver to meet in the Super Bowl.
You're giving me lots to think about. I thought it was Seahawks. Yeah.
You know how much time I've spent studying this? Maybe 10 minutes.
None. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you have a job in football in another league. Listen, I'm going to look at, not that it matters, and I know you don't get into the point spreads at all, but the Patriots are favored by 4.5 at Denver. So the pundits think the Patriots are favored. That's because of the Stidham thing, I'm sure. But you make a great point about Drake May. He hadn't been this far before either. And mind you, he has quarterbacked all year. And the Rams at the Seahawks, Seattle's favored by 2.5. So that's got to be the home field thing.
Underdogs.
Yes, you do.
I got one home underdogs. There's nothing better. You talk to true Las Vegas people. They love home underdogs.
Well, the viewers are all shocked that you're picking the LA Rams. That's because you're from LA. Wait a minute. You picked the Dodgers. You picked the Rams. Are you just a homer?
You know what? Maybe a little bit, but I actually, when I come to these games, I pick it based on the quarterback. And I'm picking Matthew Stafford over Sam Darnold. That's the honest truth. It's not LA because I'm from LA. It's Matt Stafford versus Sam Darnold.
I'm teasing you, but your brother is in where? Puget Sound, Washington?
Yeah,
where's
he's in
Johnny?
Gig Harbor with Davis Alexander.
Okay, he's watching. He writes in. He says, your brother is taking the Seahawks and the Patriots. So you might want to put a lunch down on that or something.
There you go. And trust me, he has spent 50 to 100 more times
hours
on this than I have. That's what he does. He's got TVs everywhere. That's what he does. He doesn't, he doesn't have to do like me and actually work it. He just figures out win games. I would take his picks over mine.
Well, number one, he says, yeah, Jim's a homer. So he's like, don't listen to him. I don't know why he has his television on our show, but I'm so grateful. I got to tell you this. I just learned from 2 NHL people in the last couple of weeks that they watch us in San Jose and LA. I didn't even know that we were on out there. So hello to everybody out in California. That's a new state. Yeah, that's a new state for us. There were some CFL. Oh, Kirk in Toronto watches every day, and he says, can you please ask Mr. Barker how the BMO renovations are progressing? Thanks.
They are progressing. That's where our offices are. We're there until the 1st of April. They're adding suites. They're adding seats. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful site. We will be displaced for 2.5 months, which, the league and the team are working out how that's going to happen. But we'll be out in Guelph, and so it'll be a new thing for everybody. But as you found out when you talked to Mike Miller, doesn't bother him a bit. It's Guelph, it's Toronto. What's the difference?
I'll tell you what. After that, I didn't tell you. I was ready to run through a wall after talking to Mike Miller. That he's got it, man. You guys are going to be good.
He's kind of like Kurt Signetti. He's got that same kind of dry personality that. You got to kind of know him but he makes me laugh every day. But he's going to be really good. I know players are calling like crazy about coming to play for him. So yeah, he's a special dude.
Well, it's funny. The viewers compared him to Gruden in the way he talks. But like you say, he might not be doing color on Monday Night Football anytime soon or being the spokesperson for Hooters like John Gruden. But
hey, how about Gruden to Buffalo?
He's never going to the NFL, Jim. He's not. I don't think he is.
You just think he's being blackballed.
You don't? You don't?
It probably, but somebody's going to step out and say, you know what? It's more important than that. This is about our rate. I mean, you talk about Mike McDaniel in Buffalo. You talk about a mismatch. I mean, but you put Gruden in there with those Buffalo fans, that's a match made in heaven.
He's a fit anywhere. Yeah, I think absolutely. But the problem, of course, is the commissioner. But anyways, we're out of time. Coach, this has been a ton of fun. Have a great weekend. We'll see you in a week.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Rod.
Yeah, you got it, Coach. No problem, John. We'll be back. Rand Teed, recovery professional, joining us. I'm joking. It's Jim Barker. We all know that. We'll be right back with recovery legend Rand Teed in a moment with a very special moment. My counselor, my mentor. It's going to be great. You're watching on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's a football Friday, but we're pausing the usual proceedings to bring in my longtime friend, my counselor, recovery mentor, and icon in the industry, Rand Teed. You all think sports is life and death, but it's not. What Rand does every day is. Rand, welcome to the program. We're talking about the Saskatchewan Recovery Conference next month. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Rod. Good to see you. We're having it February 26th. We're having a recovery summit in Regina, and I think the interesting thing about this is that we're focusing on recovery. We're not really talking about addiction, and that change in focus really creates a change in hope. People, when they kind of get stuck with a substance problem, but they don't know what they're going to do if they stop. They kind of been hearing from friends or family, or even that little voice inside is maybe this stuff's causing me some trouble. But the idea of stopping is terrifying. And recovery really opens doors for people to find themselves, to get better, to re-engage in life. And this conference is helping Saskatchewan take a look at what's called recovery-oriented systems of care. One of the things that we've been missing, and a lot of places are missing, is a continuum of care that help right from the time you think I need to get some help to even a year or two after you stop, just to help you get on a path that's really going to work for you to help.
Is this open to the public, or
it's absolutely open to the public? The link to register is www.recoverycapitalconference.com. There's lots of posters and stuff on all of my social media. Last Door Recovery Center in BC is one of the organizers. The Ministry of Health in Saskatchewan is a huge sponsor, and that's reduced the price down to $75 for an all-day conference, which includes food. So wow, you can't beat that for a deal. There's a really interesting array of speakers. And one of the things that is going to get talked about is that relatively newer concept of compassionate care, helping people that aren't quite able to realize that they need help themselves. And we have a couple of doctors who are going to really help people understand why this is a good idea and why it's okay. It's not imposing on people's rights. It's actually giving them possibility to have some rights. So,
well, we're down to only a couple minutes, but for $75, this would be a great way. If people have questions about recovery, come dip your toe in it. Yeah, like would it be too deep for the average person, or a nice introductory thing?
It would be a beautiful introduction for anybody that wants to find out more about what we are trying to change. And you don't have to be you don't have to be a person in recovery. It's really beautifully designed for anybody in healthcare who is encountering people with addictive disorders. Be a brilliant place for HR professionals to come in and get a better idea of how they can help employees that are struggling with stuff. So it's a really wide open conference, and we've got good registration so far. We had 250 we had a little meeting about it on Wednesday, and we have lots of capacity left. So I hope people check it out and sign up.
The day and place?
Delta Hotel, Regina, February 26th. It starts at 8:30 in the morning.
All right, and we have a minute. Who are some of the speakers?
Dr. Markinton from Saskatoon, Dr. Daniel Day, who's an internationally recognized professional in substance stuff. I'm talking Marlene McNabb, who's a prophet, First Nations University, Andrew Love, who's the director at Pine Lodge, Russell Purdy, and Brian Hamill from Recovery Solutions Group, and Mark Yago, who's developing a peer support program across the province. So it'll be a good day.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, at Rand Teed on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all linked to mine as well, and everything you need to know about recovery. Rand, have a great weekend. Thanks for coming on. Good to see you.
You too. Thank you.
We'll be coming right back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way. Again, Recovery Saskatchewan Summit coming up next month in the Queen City. Glad to help spread the word. We'll be right back in a moment. You're watching on Game Plus TV and Silver State Sports Entertainment Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Okay, bringing it back, I'm going to tell you this is one of the greatest shows we've had in a long time. I mean, they're all great, but this one's been particularly great. And thank you, Rand, for coming on and talking about the Saskatchewan Recovery Summit. Upstate, Ryan writes in, Cardinal Ryan in New York. He says, I dig this. Yes, there are things more important in life than sports, and one of them is your overall health and mental health. By the way, this is Overtime, brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. We love them. 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. It is an amusement park for hockey players. What more do you need to know? Check it out. Thank me later. Now, this is magic. This is magic. Darren wrote in from Melfort. For the curling fans, and there are big-time curling events in the USA for our U.S. viewers, Darren wrote in from Melfort. He says, about the Scotties, that's the National Women's Championships in Canada. He says, Carrie Anderson gets to be Team Canada because Rachel Homan is off to the Olympics. next year's championship? Does Homan get it back? I sent a text to Curling Canada, and I got a response from my guy, Alan Cameron. I have the answer for you while we're still on the air. So this year's champion will be next year's Team Canada under the format they've had for 100 years. And it says Rachel Homan, after coming back for the Olympics, will have to qualify next year for the national championships through the rankings, which based on the rankings, they are confident she'll be able to do that. There's your answer. And thank you, Curling Canada. And I'm so happy to be able to answer your question before we go off the air today. And thank you for longtime friendships and good friends like Alan Cameron, former football writer at the Calgary Herald. Breaking news. That's why I'm ringing the bell. The college football playoff will remain at 12 teams after the commissioners of the Southeastern Conference and Big Ten couldn't come up with a compromise. Why am I laughing? The CFP Management Committee announced today the 12-team format will stay the same for the 2026-27 season. You all know that, and I'm not going to... Okay, I'll get into why. The decision provides additional time for evaluation and discussion on the current format and potential changes in the future. I would have thought they could have had that decided by noon. I know for the Canadian viewers that aren't as much into college football, it's like Mandarin. But Jim Barker follows it very closely, and he talked about how teams with the number one that had a first-round bye, the top 4 ranked teams in the 12-team format went 1-7 in the playoff. So the bye isn't necessarily a good thing. And if they went to 16 teams, there would be no byes. 4 games for the teams that advance max. I don't understand why this isn't a home run for 16 teams. You would think they could have hammered that out by noon. Not that simple, I guess. Moving on to the NFL, Jesse Minter, Robert Saleh, and Jeff Hafley earned their head coaching opportunities in the NFL on the defensive side of the ball. 3 of the 5 new hires in this hiring cycle are former defensive coordinators. There are 5 openings still remaining, and a few more defensive coaches could get a job, including Sean McDermott, Brian Flores, and Vance Joseph. Maybe the trend is shifting. NFL teams have often sought offensive coaches in recent years. The success of guys like Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and Matt LaFleur inspired organizations to seek the rising offensive coordinators. Liam Cohen and Ben Johnson stepped in and led their teams to division titles in their first season as head coaches after leading offenses in their prior jobs. Oh, boy, if there was just one track, right? Life would be so easy. That's the way to do it. Let's go. It's not that easy, and they're all still fumbling around trying to figure it out. Everybody's had so much fun today, and I do have to apologize. We didn't get to everybody's comment or question. Laverne writes in from the Frontier City. He says, when you look at the weak performance of C.J. Stroud with Houston against the Patriots, the Texans still had a chance to win late, which tells me that defense can still win that game for Denver. Never say never. Oh, I know. And I just feel like it's been thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of talk and gobbledygook that we can't get enough of on all these networks. And it's just going to ramp up on the weekend through Saturday and Sunday morning to Sunday's games. Can we just kick it off already? Brent checking in from the Bridge City. Brent Patrician, I appreciate you, Brent. He says, good luck with that recovery summit, Rod. I've lost 2 family members to substance problems. Heartbreaking is putting it mildly. Everyone have a great weekend. Thank you, Brent. That's a very nice way for you to say that. Thanks for that. Recovery does work. Rand and I work in the field every day with people. And so that's why when he said, can I get on your show to promote the Saskatchewan conference? I'm like, done. Let's do it. And he tied it up real well. Okay. Oh, NHL picks. Oh, we got time. Vegas at Toronto tonight. It's the Golden Knights going to win. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. The Leafs are going to win. Tampa Bay at Chicago tonight. Lightning. St. Louis at Dallas. Stars. Philadelphia at Colorado. The Avs. Flyers are struggling out there. Washington at Calgary. Caps need it more. Anaheim at Seattle. Oh, pretty damn good game. I think I'm going to go with the Ducks. That could be a great game of the night poll. New Jersey at Vancouver. Definitely the Devils. And the New York Rangers at San Jose. Definitely the Sharks. I'm telling you, I saw San Jose come through here. You're going to be hearing a lot of the Sharks for a long time. Hey, Kevin the Medium checks in. He says, can I say how proud I am to be a small part of the RP show right now? Rand's segment was amazing. Kevin, you said it, and we're just as proud to have you. Like I say, the sports is fun. It ain't life and death. I spent a long time in it. I get that they think that it's life and death. They really think that it is. It's not. It's not. Nobody's going to die out on the field on Sunday. But it's sure going to be fun to watch. And, yeah, now we're getting into something that I could talk about forever, and I'm not going to because we're out of time. Thanks for a great week, everybody. Thanks today, Kevin the Medium, Jim Barker, Rand T, producer Corey, the whole crew, Joe, Broken Toe, our business manager, most of all you, everybody. Love yourself this weekend. Can you do that? We'll see you Monday right here.
That.